Hello everyone and welcome to my craft room. I'm Leo from inkymemories.co.uk, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in South Wales. And today on this Workshop Wednesday project, we're going to be using these two lovely products to make some really cute gift boxes. So what we're using here is the Celebration of Tags stamp set. Now this can be found in the annual catalogue on page 53. And as you can see, it has rows of stamps that are different types of tags basically, and there's all different types of sentiments in here. So you've got a wedding or engagement type one, congratulations, it's your day, yay, hip hip hooray, and so on, and lots of different mini sentiments down here that you can add to your tags as well. And then the trio of tags dies, these can be found in the annual catalogue on page 183, and these then cut out the stamps, and these work quite nicely together. The actual stamps and dies are in sort of strips of 3. So as you can see here, all 3 of these tag dies are actually joined together into one single die, and the stamps work in exactly the same way. So you have 3 stamps on one strip, so you stamp all 3 and die cut all 3, which makes it really fast to create lots of different tags with this set. And these dies also coordinate with a second stamp set, which is the Tags stamp set, and this can be found in the annual catalogue again on page 63. And again, you can see there's a lot of different seasonal sentiments in this one. So you have these that are sort of more for Valentine's Day, some Christmassy ones, and then some Halloween ones as well. And we will be using these again in a future project in a little while. The last thing that we're going to be using as part of this project is the mini Curvy Keepsakes box dies. These again can be found in the annual catalogue on page 182, and these come as a set. So you have one large die that cuts out the base for your mini box, and you have lots of different tags that you can use, and then different embellishments as well, all as one set. So we're going to be using a combination of all of these products today, like I said, to make some really cute gift boxes. And these would be great as mini gifts, perhaps to give as party favours if you've had people round, like little mini birthday treats or congratulations presents, guest thank yous. Like I say, if you have some kind of a party, maybe even at Christmas, you could make some for your Christmas table, or even with Halloween coming up, you could perhaps use some of these to give out instead of just giving out wrapped candy. You could pop something into these little boxes, perhaps if you're having more of a party rather than traditional trick-or-treating this year. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to be doing is stamping our tags. And the ones I've chosen to use for the project today, right, just rip off the backing plastic. I'm going to be using this strip here. So this is the one that has the it's your day, the little zany zebra saying yay and hip hip hooray. I shall grab a block for this. Pretty sure we're going to be needing block I for this one. Does this fit? Yes, there we go. So there's our stamp on our block. And like I said, it is one continuous stamp, so you can see they are all joined together so that when you stamp them, they then work perfectly with the dies for you to die cut them all in one. I'm going to be stamping these today in Memento ink. Just onto Whisper White. Now I've just got a small piece of Whisper White that I've literally pulled out of my scraps box here. So let's get this inked up. Now because this is such a big stamp, I'm going to take my ink pad to the stamp today. Lightly tap the stamp, the ink onto the stamp all the way over just to get it nicely inked up. With Memento, because the pad is a little bit harder, you do need to press a little bit firmer than you would with our standard classic Stampin' pads. You still don't need to really press right into the stamp, you don't need to sort of smush ink all over it, but just make sure you do give it firm presses to get the ink nicely onto your stamp. Okay, once you're happy that you have that all nicely inked up, pop this then down onto your paper give it good even pressure all the way over. Because it is a bigger stamp, you want to make sure you've got some good pressure and contact on there, and then lift that straight up, and there are our 3 tags all ready to go. And I've managed to get ink on my thumb, so excuse me for just a moment while I remove that so that I don't get it all over my project. Okay, inky finger crisis averted. I'm just going to clean off my stamp. Since we are using Memento, I want to make sure I get that off nice and quickly. I'm just using my stamping scrub and stamping mist today. Just spritz that, scrub the stamp on the wet side to get the ink off, and then just give it a quick dry on the dry side, and then that's ready to go again. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do then is actually die cut our little tags. So I'm going to bring in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and this is where my camera starts to have issues focusing because it's right on top of it. Okay, and I have plates 1, 2 and 3, so the base plate, thin die adapter, and then also the cutting plates. And I'm just going to run this through with the tag die. Now with these dies, you might notice that you also get these fun little sort of embellishments. You've got a couple of little snowflakes, pumpkins and hearts, and they work really nicely to sort of add a little bit of extra to the project that you're putting together. And specifically when you're using the second stamp set, the tags, where you have the Valentine's, Christmas and Halloween sort of themed tags, they can add some really nice accents to your project. Okay, that's that lined up, so I'm just going to run this through the machine. And there are our 3 tags, all nicely die cut in one pass. So you can see here we've got the hip hip hooray, and it has this fun sort of little accent on the top and bottom. We've got the little zany zebra saying yay, and then the cute it's your day with roses on there. Now while I have the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out, I'm also going to cut the bases for our gift boxes. So I'm going to bring in the Curvy Keepsakes dies. I'm just going to grab the big die, so that's the one that actually makes the box itself. Now what I've done is picked a couple of patterns of paper from the Playing with Patterns DSP stack. So I've just chosen 3, just assorted ones, obviously pick depending on what you're making and who you're likely to be giving this to. And these dies work perfectly with 6x6 sheets of DSP. As you can see, it fits really nicely onto there. You can pop it to one side, so you can then get a strip down the side if you want to for another project. Try and make the most of your DSP and get as much out of it as you can. All I'm going to do now then is just run this through 3 times on each of the different types of DSP. And there is our 3rd die cut box piece. And just before I put the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine away, there's a couple more things that I want to die cut. Bringing back in the tags dies, and while I remember, since I've just noticed this, you might find sometimes when you're die cutting that you have little bits of cardstock or paper stuck in some of the holes. To make sure it die cuts properly next time, just pop those out. So I'm just using the Take Your Pick tool with the pointy end and just poking those through. And what I'm going to do, I have some scraps here of DSP, again all from the Playing with Patterns pack, and I'm just going to die cut one of these tags on each of these pieces of paper. So if I just pop the first one in, make sure that the tag that I want is sat over the paper. It doesn't matter if one of the other ones does as well. like I said, we're just using up some scraps here to cut a couple of extra tags. I'm just going to run all of these through on each of the tags. So I have one piece of DSP for each of the tags that I'm using today. Something you may have noticed me doing there was flipping my plates over. That's something really important to do on a regular basis when you are cutting with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It helps to stop your plates bowing. So if I just move this out of the way. And I'll show you the plates that I've got here. So you can see with this one that it has started to bow quite a bit already, and this one is still kind of straight. It has a little bit of a sort of wave to it, but not quite as much as this one. So the next time I run this one through, I'm just going to make sure I turn it this way up so that it's curved this way, and that will help to straighten it back out. And then every few cuts, just make sure that you do flip your plate one side or the other, and that will help keep it nice and straight and make sure that it cuts nice and evenly for you. Okay, so now that we have all of our die cutting done, it's time to do some sort of assembly and decoration. So just to recap, we have our 3 mini boxes die cut. We have our 3 stamped and die cut tags. Oh, if I can pick this one up. There we go. And then we have 3 background tags in designer series paper as well to go with them. So with these two, you can see on here we've got a couple of little areas that could be coloured in, and why not, let's get some colour onto these and make them as fun as we possibly can. So I've picked out an assortment of stamping blends that go with the colours in the designer series paper that we're using today. So if I just pull those in. So I have Calypso Coral in the light and dark. I have some Just Jade in light and dark. I have Bermuda Bay and Daffodil Delight, and all of these are in the combo pairs. And so I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to colour in the roses. And the way that I like to do this is to add down first of all the darker colour, so where the sort of darkest areas would be on the flower, pop in some of the dark ink. So sometimes, you know, go around the edge of the petals where they would meet. You might have a slightly darker shadow around there. In the centre as well is likely to be darker. There's no real right or wrong way to do this, just however you think is going to look best on your project. And then once you've added in all of the areas that you want to have the darker ink, switch it out then into your lighter colour. And then basically colour it in and blend those two together. And because these are alcohol based markers, they do blend really nicely. And because we've stamped in the Memento ink, if you've seen my recent video on the colouring techniques and all of the different colouring products that Stampin' Up have, Memento ink is water based. And like I said, the stamping blends are alcohol based. So when you colour the two sort of together, the black lines don't blur or get affected by you colouring with the stamping blends. And if it sounds like elephants have just descended upstairs, that would be my dog jumping off the bed. Apologies. Okay, I'm going to move on then to the second row. So I'm going to do exactly the same this time with Calypso Coral. So starting with the dark colour, I'll just add in the dark areas first of all, and then blend in the light. that's the roses done. And then I'm just going to add some green to the leaves, and I'm going to do that in Just Jade. So exactly the same again, adding in the darker areas first with the darker pen, and then going in and blending it out with a lighter one. Okay, and that's that tug all nicely coloured in. I'm going to do the same with the little balloon that our little zebra here is carrying, and I'm just going to use Bermuda Bay for this one. So exactly the same, add in my darker colour first and then blend it through with the lighter one. Okay, and there are our little tags all ready to go. So now we're going to start assembling all of these pieces together and finishing off our gift boxes. So we'll work on one at a time just to make this a little bit easier. So the first one I have here are these gorgeous big watercolour spots, and inside is in Calypso Coral. So first of all, I'm going to just fold and burnish all of these score lines just gently. This is only designer series paper, which is a much lighter weight than cardstock, so you don't need to really reinforce these folds. You actually might end up overstressing the paper if you do that. And then on these two ends where you've got the little loops, you just want to fold those back on themselves. You don't need to worry about reinforcing that one. These are just to help put the box together at the end. So to assemble your box, first of all, you bring together these two pieces that have the loops. And to help this, what I would recommend that you do is just add a slight curve to this paper, just by running your finger and thumb over it. It helps to sort of give it a little bit of a bend, just helps to soften the fibres in the paper so you can manipulate it a little bit easier, like so. So if you bring those together, and then the slots just pop over the top. So just again, I want to slightly manipulate this, make sure that it is all the way on. You will notice on these little loops there are tiny little sort of notches cut in on the side, and that helps to keep the paper in place once it's folded in. At this point is the easiest time to fill this. So with this one, what I have here is just a little Lindor truffle, and I'm just going to pop that one inside and then fold the other piece over the top. And again, making sure the paper sits into those notches so that it is nicely closed up. So once you have your box assembled, it's time to add on the tags. I'm going to do this with some of the ribbon from the Playing with Patterns ribbon combo packs. You can see here we have 3 different ribbons in different colours and very different styles, and I'm going to use a couple of these on each project. So for this one, I think this gorgeous purple posy ribbon is going to work really nicely with this box. And also I'm going to use some of the thinner Night of Navy ribbon as well. So first of all, I'm going to thread the Night of Navy ribbon, so the thin ribbon, through the hole on the tags. And I'm just going to fold this in half to make this a little bit easier to thread. And then pull it through from the other side. And we don't need a huge amount of this ribbon, just a small piece will do. I'm going to grab my ribbon scissors and just snip that off there. And then I'm going to take the purple posy ribbon and pop this through the handles of our box. So this will help keep this nicely closed up. So with this ribbon, first of all, just going to tie a little overhand knot onto this to hold the tag in place. There we go. So I've got that then all nicely on there, and I'm just going to snip the ends off that. So we have our little tags, and to do this then, so taking this ribbon, I'm just going to thread this over the top. So this is going to sit in the middle of our bow basically once this is all tied, and then just tie a nice bow over the top of your gift box handle to hold it all in place. As always, just manipulate your bow until you are happy with the tails and loops. And once you're happy with how it looks, you can just snip the end of the ribbon. Again, just make sure you do it at an angle. That helps to stop the ribbon fraying. And there is our first little mini gift box ready to go. So let's assemble the others. So for the next one, I have this gorgeous stripy pattern. I'm just again going to sort of fold and reinforce these score lines. And then the same on the looped handles over the top. And just to give the sides a bit of curl, just using your finger and thumb to manipulate the fibres in the paper. It's exactly the same again, bring up the two handles and pop the first loop over the top, making sure that it is sat nicely into the notches on either side. And then for this one, I have one of these sort of chew blocks. These are just fruit chews, basically just in a little block. And I'm just going to pop this inside slightly at an angle, just to make sure that it will fit in nicely. And then pop the other side of the box over the top of the handle, making sure that it rests into those notches, like so. And there is our little put together box. This time I'm going to be using the little Zany Zebra Yay tag for this one, and I have another piece of the Night of Navy ribbon that I'm going to pop through the tags. And again, just using the point on there to pop through the hole at the top of the tag, grab it from the other side and pull it through, and then just tie another overhand knot to keep those two pieces together. Just like so. If you want the second piece to be more visible behind the tag, the easiest way to do that is just grab some adhesive. I'm just using Stamping Seal here. Just pop a little line of the adhesive down your tag, and this doesn't seem to want to work today. There we go. And then layering up your two tags how you want them to look. So just sort of slight offset so you can see the coloured piece behind it, and that then holds it in place nicely for you. And this time I'm going to bring in the Coastal Cabana ribbon from the Playing with Patterns combo and do exactly the same. So just pop the ribbon through the loop on the box, pop your little gift tags over the top, and then tie another bow. Our second little gift box ready to go, and we should just get the third one done. So exactly the same again, I'm just going to fold all of these and then manipulate the paper to make it nice and curvy. And then for this last one, I have here a little bag of Haribo sweets. Any sweets in mini packs would also work with this. What you need to do is just ever so slightly fold this up into the smallest bundle you can get it into without popping the bag, basically. And then just holding the side of the box, squeeze this in, tuck in all the edges, and then bring up the other side. And close the box. There we go, all nicely done. And for this one, I'm going to do things a little bit differently, I think. I am going to stick these two tags together, again, slightly offset so that you can see the fun DSP behind. So I'm just going to pop another strip of seal down in there. Make sure the two top pieces are together where you want to put the ribbon through the hole, and then stick those slightly off center so you can see the fun patterns on there. And with this then, what I am going to do is just cut myself a piece of this lovely Coastal Cabana ribbon again. I'm going to loop this together this time. Since the hole on this tag is slightly bigger, we should be able to get this ribbon through it. So pull this pair through and then pull it back through the loop. Like so. And then I'm just going to tie this onto the top of my project. And again, I'm just going to fiddle the bow until I am happy with the loops and the tails, and then trim the ends. And there is our third and final mini gift box. So there we have them, 3 little mini gift boxes done pretty quickly, all with very different fillings, so be suitable for very different types of people. Like I said, lots of different things that you could use these mini gift boxes for. Absolutely popping together a bunch of these for party favours from your kid's birthday party, for example, would be a really fun and easy project to do, and super simple to put these all together. Just a little production line going, a bit of die cutting, a bit of colouring. You don't even need to do that if you use one of the plainer stamps. And then fun and interesting designer series paper, and you could make this with any sort of offcuts of DSP that you have as well. So I hope you have enjoyed this project today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have liked this, please do give this video a like so that I know that it is something that you have watched and enjoyed. And consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell so that you will be notified every time I post a new video. We do have simple projects every Saturday, and then alternating Wednesdays and Tuesdays we have bigger projects like this, and then some tips and tricks as well. If you are based in the UK and you don't currently have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you'd like a copy of our current catalogues, there is a link in the description box below to the web form directly on my website where you can request that, and I'll get those into the post for you so you can sit and browse over a nice cup of tea or coffee. If you have any questions or comments about this project or the products that I've used, pop them into the comments box below and I'll be happy to help you out. And along that line, if you would like to purchase any of the products that I have used today, there is a link in the description directly to my Stampin' Up! Store where you can buy all of these and more. Thank you again for joining me today and for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.